Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is fuck it. This is Steven.
This is Bum.
You're not ready to say your name yet.
I mean,
It's a force of habit, and plus, all my fucking videos on YouTube, which this podcast goes on, already has my name on there.
you've said my name on your channel anyway, so what up? It's Troy.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, they don't know our last names or anything, so fuck it.
Uh, Troy McSexyface. That's my legal name. All right.
Steven McShoreshit. That's mine.
Troy, middle name, long dick, sexy face. It's my full legal name.
Steven, I'm German and I hate Jews.
Well,
Yeah. Hate to break it to you, Troy.
well, shit.
So today's Halloween, and I figured, what better way to what better way to do a podcast on Halloween is to tell paranormal stories. I do have one on my phone that was actually sent to me by a friend of mine, and I will read that out. And because he couldn't send me some good ones. Well, they're all good, but he couldn't send me a lot because of work and shit. So,
I mean, all pretty much all the stories are good in their own right. At least the ones that I've found.
so I got one from him, and I got a lot from me. It just depends how much time we run through.
Yeah.
And then I have a couple on the interweb that I've seen that I could read. I think they're just stories. I don't. No, they don't seem like they're stories. Yeah, a lot of these aren't stories. Like they're stories, obviously, but they're shit that actually happened.
Mine, at least from the ones that I've found, they're just straight up stories. I mean, no, they're 100% real. You should be terrified. Ooh.
That's a ghost. Okay, so who wants to start? You want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'll start with the shorter of the stories that I have. Alright, so the stories that I have found come from the subreddit r/no-sleep. The first story is called "What Does Your Baby Taste Like?" by Vera Stahl. Is this Chloe? Who is this? So this is Chloe, right? Yeah, but I don't know this number. Who is this? You know me, Chloe. I realized the name is Chloe. Fuck. Alright.
Spooky! You fucked up a name!
Is this Brian? No, not even close. But it doesn't matter. I need something from you. Sure you do. Fuck off, creep. Nothing
Damn.
like that. I just need to ask you a question. Is this Lindsay? Did you get a new number? Or what is this? Just a simple question. And then I'll leave you alone for now. Fine. Ask your stupid question, Lindsay. What does your baby taste like?
The fuck?
Chloe Merrick was being housed at the Broadview Psychiatric Hospital for the criminally insane when the video transcribed below was made. The other party was Dr. Sylvia Peters, a newer member of the treatment staff that was taking over the case from Dr. Richard Talpin, a senior doctor who had recently left the hospital for a chief of staff position elsewhere. Despite his expertise, Talpin had made little progress during his 6 months of working with Chloe, and it was hoped that Peter's fresh perspective and approach might yield better results. The transcript below reflects the final portion of their first and only session together. You've seen these before, haven't you? The photographs of your texts? Yes, Chloe, I've seen them. I've gone through your file thoroughly, and it has lots of details in it, including those texts you say you received back when you first found out you were pregnant. No, see, that's just it. I wasn't pregnant. Or, I guess I was. But I didn't know it yet. Not for another month. And I know you don't believe me, any more than Talpin did, and after what what they found, I don't blame them. They think I'm crazy. I guess I probably am, but that happened. It fucking happened. Those texts prove that, right? Chloe, I don't know how productive going back over this well-trod ground is going to be, but you've been cooperative today, so I'm willing to go down this road with you just a bit further. Just a bit, though, okay? Okay. Now, to answer your question, I know you showed these texts to police and to your other doctors, and you say that you received these texts back in October of 2017, almost 9 months before you gave birth to your baby and well before the incident 7 months ago. Yeah, that's right. And it proves that, Chloe, all that proves is that you got strange texts, or that you manufactured these texts yourself to try and provide a strange justification or alibi for what you've done. I know what you're going to say. How could you have made up these texts? To which I say, people can do all kinds of things on computers these days. I'm not accusing you, or anything of course, but I always want to have an honest relationship with you, and I think it can be fruitful to explore such possibilities. So what? I made up text somehow, took pictures of it, and then waited to have a baby, and fuck, that's so stupid and horrible, it makes no sense. Maybe. Or you could have made it in the days leading up to the incident. The dates could be faked just as easily as the rest, right? Perhaps you don't remember doing it, just like you don't remember, well, the other. You stupid bitch. Listen to... No, Chloe. I'm sorry, but no. I won't tolerate abusive language. We're going to treat each other with respect, or this session is done and you can go back to Seawing. Is that what you want? No. I'm sorry. I didn't fake this. Any of this. And I didn't hurt my baby. Then tell me what happened. Did you ever find who sent those texts? No. You know I didn't. And I was creeped out a little, but I figured it was just a weird prank. Some kid who knew me and used a burner or something. Then I found out I was pregnant and sure, thought about it again, but it seemed so silly. And I was having to navigate things with Jackson, then the father, which was already a complicated relationship before there was a baby in the mix. But we worked it out, got engaged, and everything was going well. We had the baby. He was a sweet, healthy little boy. Chloe, I know this is hard. Believe me, I wish it wasn't. But if we're going to do any real work in here, we have to be able to talk about the rough stuff, okay? Now take your time, and then please go on. Yeah, okay. So everything was fine, and then one day, I woke up with people shouting at me. Police and one of the neighbors. My hands and face were sticky and covered in dirt, and I was in the backyard. They kept asking me what I'd done with Polly, with my baby. Where was he? What had I done with him? I told them I didn't know. It was the truth at the time. I didn't. At the time. So later, you remembered? Not exactly, but look. When I was little, I used to play in our garden. I have these memories of... Well, it was like music, except it wasn't. Because it was talking to me. Only to me, okay? People thought I just had an imaginary friend. Ah, I see. And you think this friend wasn't imaginary? Some kind of ghost or demon or some such? God, I know what it sounds like. A 25-year-old trying to talk herself out of a murder or... Look, I'm not stupid. I know that age-wise and genetically, I'm in the spectrum for schizophrenia. Believe me, all I have to do in here is read and fucking hate myself. I know what Talpin thought was wrong, and I'm sure you're just the same. Don't be so quick to judge, Chloe. I can assure you that I'm very different from Talpin. My question was an earnest one. I wasn't trying to mock you or imply anything. Did you think something supernatural was going on when you were a child? Back then, I don't know. Everything is kind of magic when you're little, right? I just had this special friend for a while, and a fairy princess, or whatever that was, going to carry me away to his magical land. But of course that never happened, and as I got older, I talked to it less, and it answered less. At first I thought it was sleeping. And then I thought it had gone away, and then I just forgot about it. I mean, it was just stupid kid stuff. But when I was in that hospital bed, wrists strapped to the rails and a deputy staring at me with that disgusted fucking look from the corner of the room, like I could have done something like that, I just wanted to die. And I was so desperate to give them answers, wanted to help, hoped they'd find Polly and he'd somehow be okay. That's when it came back to me. What came back to you? That I was in the backyard with Polly. I was showing him a caterpillar I'd found on one of the bushes out there. He was always such a happy boy, and he was laughing, and then there was music. That talking music, saying something so loud and fast, and then they found me like that. Covered in your baby's blood? Fuck you! Yes, okay, yes. But I swear to God I didn't hurt him. I could never. I'm ready to go now. I don't want to talk about this anymore. We're almost done, Chloe. Just a few more. No, I'm done now. I want to go. Chloe, I think we're very close to a breakthrough here. I want to try something. I call it trust whispering. We take turns whispering things to each other. Things that are secret or that we are ashamed to admit or that we've just never shared with anyone. And it'll be both of us sharing, so it won't feel so one-sided. How does that sound? Like shit! I want to go now. I'll go first. And what I'm going to tell you, well, it's something I know about all this. Something that you'll be very interested to find out. Something that will change everything for you. But what? What is it? What did you find out? But just like everything between us, you have to agree to it. I've never lied to you, never forced you. So, what do you say? Fine, just tell me. What did you find about my Polly? No. I just told you the rules. We're going to whisper. So I'll just come over here and whisper it to you. Just like this. At this point in the video, that several things happen in short order. Dr. Peters, having stood and then crouched down near where Chloe is seated, leans close as though to whisper to her. Immediately, the sound breaks up into a high-pitched static whine that is first taken as a malfunction, though processing of the audio has since shown it to be something else entirely. This lasts for several seconds, an expression of awakening terror spreading across Chloe's features. At first, she appears frozen, but then, as she recoils in horror from Dr. Peters, the other woman grips her shoulders and starts savagely biting her. Blood sprays across the floor and walls, and the video ends, due to what is classified as camera failure. The interview was not being independently monitored at the time, so it was nearly an hour before anyone went to check on the doctor and her patient. Neither were found, with only the sprays of blood in the recording itself as evidence of what occurred. The only new evidence has come from the completed audio restoration of what was said during the feedback. Right before the attack, the attack on Chloe. The clean version is still far from pristine. There appears to be at least 3 different melodical sounds being played simultaneously with the isolated voice. And while the voice itself matches Dr. Peters, according to several utilized pattern recognition metrics, it is also inexplicably different along several others. Regardless of these irregularities, the words themselves have been identified and are reproduced without further commentary below. Rosemary, he tasted of pain and fear and the blood that springs from your cleft, and the sweet dusk of Rosemary. Hush now, you have paid your way fairly, as I always knew you would. Time to take you home. Alright.
So that was just like an actual, like, scary stories to tell in the dark kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay, I mean, that's a good way, I guess, to start it. I mean, it's not what I was expecting, but, well, you know, I will say that it scared me, and, you know. That's all I gotta say about that. Oh, there we go. Okay, I gotta pause this really quick. Oh, it's already paused. Wait, there we go. Okay, so Can you hear my fan in the background? I don't know if you can or not.
No.
Okay, because
Oh,
it's
did you
popping
pause
up
the
on.
recording?
No. We're good.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was just wondering. I ain't pausing for shit.
Okay.
Um.
I heard pause. I'm like, wait. Does he mean like stop recording? What the fuck?
No. I was this audio clip I'm gonna play. This is the first one of many. Well, not many of audio clips. Just the only audio clip I'm gonna play. But I'm gonna explain it first. For people that don't know, I am part of a ghost hunting group, but we haven't hunted, quote unquote, spirits in a very long time, mainly because, we have adult lives, and it sucks, but, it is what it is. But we are investigating an old team member's house, and Poison Cashew was up in the living room with another member, and it was his house. So they were watching the cameras that we set up, and another member, we'll call him M, he was in a different room that was closer to where I was at, but he was in a closet with the door closed, and the bedroom door to that room was closed. So he had like double doors closed. I was in an area where the owner, we're going to call him T, was he had some experiences, and that was like the laundry room, and perfectly, like, one of the cameras was actually pointed to where he was having experiences, and I went to that area where he was having experiences, and I was doing a spirit box communication session, and the audio you're going to hear is from, my watch is going off, let me just take that off and throw it away really quick, get out of here.
Break the fucking thing.
I need that watch. This is from his audio recording, not mine. But turn up my volume here just to be sure. Yeah, it's all the way up. Wait, is it? Well, that's horrible. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So you're gonna hear him, say something, and then you're gonna hear like a flunk, and then just listen. Okay, so that sucks on the phone. But he said, if you really want to freak him out, tell him your name is, we'll say Bobo. Yeah. He said, if you really want to freak him out, go tell him your name is Bobo. And a couple seconds later, there's like a, and that happened right behind me, and I was squatted right in a corner underneath the stairs. It was so pitch black in that room that I threw my ghost hunting camera, extended my arm out, and I actually caught it, and like I held it in like a football. And I go running up the stairs, and T and Poison Cashew had no idea what was going on. They said, watching the cameras, they just see me quickly turn my head, scream, throw my camera, catch it, and haul ass out. So that's one of the ghost hunting stories that I got. I said, well, experiences. And speaking of Poison Cashew, he texted me one of his first paranormal ghost encounter story, and I'm gonna read it. It said, when I was 16, my dad and I. Oh, well, no, sorry. When I was 16. My dad was doing makeup for a play going on at the Opera House, and I had just gotten my very first voice recorder. I had wandered away from my dad and gone downstairs, and I pulled out my recorder and started doing a very quick EVP session. When I was down there for maybe 5 minutes, I then heard a loud bang, and it scared the ever-loving shit out of me, so I ran back upstairs and decided to review the audio. I will never forget the voice I heard. I asked, is there anybody down here? 5 seconds later, you could clearly hear the voice. You could clearly hear who's down here in such a harsh voice and then the bang after that. And that's the Opera House in town.
Why is it always opera houses? I mean, I guess
One in
ghosts want to be
Caliani.
cultured as well. I mean,
The one in Caliani, ours, the Phantom.
uh,
Okay, so it's not a ghost story. I got plenty of those, which I'll tell a couple, but this one I'm just gonna say because it's shying away from ghosts. This is a Bigfoot or Sasquatch story, which potential Bigfoot or Sasquatch, because there's no real evidence that we've seen to kind of say it was, but the timing was just weird. Me, my friend, and his wife and their kids, we went camping. I can't remember the location, but it's like in between. It's the back way from Enterprise to Caliani. It's like a huge dirt area, but if you pull off to the left, you could go down to like this wooded area. And at that time, we were watching a lot of the Bigfoot hunters, and we would just laugh at how they would do their shit, which is weird considering that I used to hunt ghosts. Like we would just talk to air. They're like hitting twigs and shit and throwing rocks and doing screams. So we made fun of them. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up, but it's true. But we were, in this nice little area, and it was nice and peaceful and quiet because we were the only ones there. And it was probably about 2 a.m. The kids were asleep, so it was me, my friend, and his wife. We were out by the campfire, and we're like, hey, one of the weird ways of getting in contact with Bigfoot is slamming a twig or a branch against the tree. And I was like, I'll fucking do it. I don't give a shit. So I picked up a nice sized piece of wood that was a nice grip of a bat. And I went up to a tree, and I just went thunk, thunk. And nothing happened. So I dropped it, went back to the campfire. And we did a couple screams, which I'm not going to do it because I'm in the house. Maybe not like that, but it was about 5 minutes later, give or take, and there was a lot of trees where we were at, and you just hear poof. And I mean, it wasn't like it was a rock, like it literally sounded like someone picked up a like a big ass branch and just smacked it against the tree. Needless to say, like we jumped. I mean, when you don't expect it, you'll jump, and we jumped. So that's the Bigfoot story.
plot twist, it was just me in a fursuit.
I didn't know you then. I knew who your dad was, but I didn't know you then.
It's kind of weird. I know this is really a story for a different podcast, but how well you know my family, and yet it took us for fucking ever to actually meet.
Actually, yeah. I mean, if you think about it in the long run, hey, you're not the last one of your family that I got introduced to. That was your mom.
Yeah, fair.
So, like, well, actually, no. Technically, it was your sister.
I mean, either or, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, it was the females that I was last introduced to. But I've known your dad the longest.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much since I was born.
Ooh.
I've known your dad longer than you. Bitch. Okay, well, since you've read one story, I'm going to read... I'm going to read one. Let's see where we're at here.
See, this isn't a horror story for everyone in the audience. This is just some of his fan fiction that it's going to be.
Yeah,
horrifying.
that's exactly it. This is not your typical podcast, by the way. Which, by the way, my mom listens to, so...
Oh, hi! He's an upstanding citizen and nothing crazy happens ever, anytime.
Yeah, she's immediately going to call bullshit on that one. Okay, this is a short one, so fuck it. I was visiting my dad last summer and trying to fall asleep when suddenly I felt a hand grab my ankle. I kicked furiously at whatever was grabbing me, jumped out of bed, and screamed. There was nothing there. My dad came running into the room and found me sitting on the floor facing the bed. He asked me what was wrong and didn't believe me when I said nothing. That I thought something grabbed me and even checked the closet. I immediately felt embarrassed, but it felt so real. I've never had something like that happen to me before or since. That's the story.
Short, sweet, to the point. All right.
Yeah.
Got diddled by some ghosts. Got it.
It's the ghost of R. Kelly. Or Epstein.
Epstein, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby. You just name something.
Bill Clinton.
No, because they're still alive.
Donald Trump's old hair.
All right, so I'm gonna tell a family story. This
Ooh.
is. I don't remember all the details perfectly, but more or less, my family has had some weird paranormal experiences, and this story involves a dream that two separate people of my family had. While some of the details were different for each one, the basis of it was the exact same. So, my uncle had a dream that he was watching one of his daughters, and he hears her scream in the basement. And he goes down to the basement and he sees his daughter. And she's cowering in the corner and pointing at another little girl.
And is this still a dream?
Yes.
Okay.
But goes down the stairs, sees his daughter, my cousin, pointing at another little girl, and says, "That's not a real girl, Dad." My uncle is just, "What are you talking about?" "That's not a real girl, Dad." So he walks over and he picks up this girl. And before his eyes, this little girl turns into a demon of some sort and attacks him.
Oh my god. Dude, okay, I gotta stop you right there.
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt. Okay. Never mind. I'm gonna tell this wasn't, I wasn't even gonna tell this story. But what you just fucking said, like, Poison Cashew is gonna flip his shit when he hears this. Because it's, damn, okay, I'll just let you finish.
Alright. But this demon attacks my uncle, and he drops her. And it runs up the stairs, and he chases it. This demon turns into a piece of paper, and flies out to the street, and then back onto the driveway, and lands, and he wakes up. Now, yes, it's a scary dream, it's creepy, but in that same house, about a year or so later after having that dream, his father-in-law had someone living with him. And one day, he just walks out the door, walks to the street, and then falls over and dies in the driveway. And that's a true story.
Okay, so your uncle saw a demon girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's my story. I'm gonna tell it from two different sides. One's from Poison Cashews and one's from mine, because there's some of this I actually have no recollection of. We were at Grafton, to which people who haven't been to Grafton, I'm gonna tell you a little backside of stuff that I know.
Don't go there.
Go there. It's not bad, except for the story I'm about to tell you. It's not bad.
Or my story from Grafton, like.
Native Americans, disease, flooding, like all this shit. A lot of people died. But we would go there investigating a lot. We were in one of the houses, and we hadn't been there that long. And at one point, Poison Cashew's wife just, I don't know if she was feeling ill or if she just had like a bad gut feeling, but she was like, "Hey, we just gotta go." And so we're like, "Okay, it's whatever, And so we all walk outside, and Poison Cashew and his sister kind of, they think they see something, so they kind of move in front of the car that we were all in, and I was in the back seat, and Poison Keshu's wife was in the front seat, right in front of me, and that's what I remember was getting into the car, and I guess at this moment, oh, I just said her name. We got to edit that out. Edit. At this point, Poison Keshu's wife, she turned around to say something. I can't remember what it was. I know it's because I was quiet. She turns around and I guess she said that my head was just like it was like when you sleep in a chair or something, your head's like down looking at your feet. That's how I was. And she immediately knew something was up. So she called him over. And I guess at that time, Poison Keshu and his sister saw something, and what he saw will never leave his mind, and I'll tell you what that was after I finish the story. But they come over, and I'm again sitting there still as can be, face looking down, and this is all from their point now. Like, none of this, I don't know. Like, nothing. Like, I don't remember any of this at all. Poison Keshu goes, "Hey, Steven, you okay?" And I guess when I looked up at him, my eye color was not my eye color. It was something completely different, and like I had like a different look to my face, and I guess I was just doing weird shit, and the door was open just a little bit. That when like I was wearing a hat, and I slammed my head kind of through that crack, and it scared the shit out of his wife and his sister. And when I pulled my body back, my hat fell and landed in the dirt. And if anybody knows me, as soon as my hat touches the floor, I'm pissed, because that's like one of my OCD things, because I own a lot of hats. Poison Keshu said, "Hey, dude, your hat fell on the floor." To which he said that when he said that, I looked down at it, and there was a cross on the I almost said helmet, on the hat. I looked down and I noticed it and looked back up at him, and I said, "Yes, but I would prefer it if it was upside down." And then I kind of I leaned back into the seat, and so he started saying like Wiccan chants and whatnot to fight whatever was there, I guess. And I guess my body just started swaying back and forth with the biggest smile on my face. And I said, "You could do whatever the fuck you want to do. It's not going to change anything." I then lift up my legs and I put it in like the seam of the door, and then like my body just fell, and like it was like almost like contorted, I guess. And what snapped me out of it was his sister touched the door, and that's what I remember next, is me being on the floor going like, "What the fuck am I doing here?" But what Poison Keshu, I almost keep saying his name. What I said almost, I didn't actually say it. What Poison Keshu said he saw was a demon girl. And so that was kind of weird. Okay, I got another ghost story. This is not from me. This is from another story. It says, when I was 5, me and my identical twin sister both caught scarlet fever. We both fell into a coma towards the end of the fever. One day I woke up to my mom and my aunt screaming and crying and holding my sister because she was unresponsive and not breathing. They were doing chest compressions, CPR, etc., but nothing was working. I was desperately trying to get their attention because I was young and didn't understand what was going on. I went back into my room to go back to sleep, but in the corner of the room where my sister's bed was, I saw her laying there breathing fine. I went back out to the living room and realized I was looking at myself in my mom's arms as she was trying to revive me. Eventually, I saw my eyes flicker open, and then everything went dark. I woke up a few weeks later in the hospital next to my sister and mom, who ended up catching it because of us. My mom told me that I almost died, and they were trying to wake me up, but I was unresponsive, so the ambulance took all 3 of us in the ICU. To this day, I am still unsure how I witnessed my almost death.
That's kind of cool. I've heard a few of those stories.
Like, that stuff I find trippy.
So I think I might as well tell my Grafton story before I jump into this last story that I have, because this last story is a long one, but so is my Grafton story. So my time I went to Grafton. Now, Granted, you and I have never been to Grafton together because you're going to be hard-pressed to get me to go back to that fucking place.
Oh, dude, I'll take you to any fucking location we've been to.
You're not going to get me to Grafton. No.
Come on.
No.
Come
Eat
on.
dick and die, alright?
Hey, Mom, this is Troy, by the way.
Yeah. But, so I went there with a group of friends. And
not me,
not
asshole.
You. Granted, I think only one or two people in that group knew you. And at that point, the only time I had actually met you was because a particular person asked for a ride, and we got to talk in the Walmart parking lot for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I made you do drills. Run the street, run back to the street, come back over here. Stop, What are you doing? What are you doing? Turn around, get back over here.
Oh,
anyway,
yes,
continue.
that's right. Anyway. We went there. I didn't know what was going on. I had gone over to some friends' places, and they're getting ready to go. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, we're going ghost hunting. Alright, I guess.
Sounds like a bad thought to a movie.
Yeah.
So,
really
guys, we're going ghost hunting.
I straight up sounded like one of the characters that will die first in a horror movie. Like, but, you know.
But you're white.
Well, I'm a dark-skinned white.
That's just the Jewish, you know.
Well, you know, obvious Holocaust joke there. I'm not gonna.
Okay, this is a Halloween episode. We'll keep that shit to a minimum.
Yes. But, so we go with them. They don't bring any equipment or anything like that. So it's literally, we're just going there to be hooligans. Like, we broke into one of the houses. We were being a nuisance.
Don't say that.
We didn't break into one of the houses. Another one was already open. We just kind of walked in. But, you know, when we were in that house that we totally didn't break into, something was off. It was only me and, like, 2 or 3 other people that went in. But something just felt off. I mean, we were trying to scare some people, other people that were there. And
we did that once.
Yeah.
I'll tell that story after this.
Just felt like there was something behind me. I just kind of looked at him. Okay, I'm gonna go. Catch up with you guys in a minute. I leave, start chit-chatting with the rest of the people in the group, and I just see the other 2 people that were in there just come flying out. I'm like, what the hell happened? They're like, oh, we were leaving and then we got pushed. It was so crazy. I'm like, yeah, whatever. They swore it happened, and, you know, at the time I was like, alright, cool. Then they decided to go into the farmhouse. Now, I was with a particular friend that, didn't have, any proper clothing to hop a fence, and I didn't want to leave him alone. So I just chilled back, and this is middle of summer, and it was like almost freezing outside. We were freezing as they went to this farmhouse. And they were gone for like an hour or 2. Me and this friend kept hearing stuff behind us. And next thing you know, they're running back out. They're just saying, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. I'm like, fuck, alright, what happened? Dude, he's acting so weird now. Someone was pushed, someone was touched, like, we need to go. I'm like, fuck, alright. So, start walking back, and I'm the one in the back of the group. I wanted to make sure everyone got through alright. I turn around, and this tiny gray creature just runs across the road that we were walking down.
The fuck?
And I just kind of look at the person that was next to me like, no, we need to fucking hurry. Like, move. So we more or less sprint back, and the person I got in the car with, almost like what happened to you, he just kind of goes blank. We didn't notice this until he was already driving. Like, he was going 80 down that road. 80 or
fuck.
more. Like, he was not okay. And he's also my roommate. And for the next few days, he was acting real weird. And then just out of the blue, he threw a party.
Huh.
And then I started acting weird. I started losing.
Hey guys, I got possessed by a demon. Let's do this.
I, during this party, was stuck in the fetal position, just saying, I'm not okay, I'm not okay, I'm not okay, I'm not okay, I'm not okay. I had no idea what was going on, and for the next year after this, I had some strange events happen. Like, one night, I woke up to something holding my hand, and then as I woke up, it disappeared in the corner of my room, and it was just staring at me. And I was staring at it. Just kind of, both of us looking at each other going, the fuck, bruh? I'd have things just randomly knock on my door when I was home alone. Like, eventually, one of my friends that had gone with me, and that I'd been around a lot, he had something get out of his bed in the middle of the night, and then throw his candle over, throw his papers. He could see something down the hallway if it was night. Like, Grafton is fucked up. Don't go to Grafton. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll still go. We got this. It's cool.
No, you can fuck off.
You just gotta go with the people who actually know what the fuck they're doing.
And don't not break into places.
Yeah, definitely do not do that. That's a no-no.
Yes.
So here's my funny story about Grafton. One day, me, Poison Cashew, and his wife, obviously we went to Grafton because there's just the three of us, and we get there and everything's normal as can be. I do have one more story of Grafton after this though, and that'll be the last Grafton story. But this one's comedic. We're in this one house, which there's only like really 3 homes you can go into. And this is the one, like, as you're pulling up to the church, there's that big-ass building to your left.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one we were in.
Wait,
and
the one to the left of the church? There was one to the left of the church? I thought it was to the right.
No. Like, the church is still a little bit further down. This one's kind of, like, hidden by trees. So you really have to look for it.
Oh, yeah, like the farmhouse or whatever. Or
yeah, something similar to that, yeah.
Okay.
Technically, I guess it would be a farmhouse because there's a barn right next to it. But we're in there, we're doing our investigation, and then all of a sudden we hear, car doors, and we're like, oh, it's either, sheriffs or punks. Lo and behold, it was the second option.
Yeah.
And you just hear all these teenagers, and we're like, oh shit, our fucking EVPs and all that's gonna be bunk now. Lo and behold, they come into the house we're in, and they're like, what are you guys doing? We're like, we're ghost hunting. They're like, oh, dude, can we watch? We'll be quiet. And Poison Cashew immediately knew what I don't know how he knew, but he knew immediately what I was going to do. I'm like, yes, we're about to do this real weird thing, though. It's cool, though, right? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because there's this rumor that the people that used to live in this house, the guy, I guess, sold his soul to the devil, and he killed his whole family and whatnot. And there's this saying that if you play a certain chant, he comes, you see his form, and we're going to play it. And they're like, oh, yeah, dude, that's dope. Do it. And I'm like, okay. And it's a song from a band called Cradle of Filth, and it's called the Satanic Mantra. And if you don't know who they are, it basically all it is Archangel to Archangel, lend me thy light through death's veil till we have heaven and sight. And then it just gradually goes higher and higher and higher. And this was recorded. I got to see if I could find this. But you hear, like, it gets louder and louder and louder. And Poison Cashew and his wife were trying not to laugh. They ended up, like, burying their heads, like they're kind of like I can't the people in the cloaks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that was them trying not to laugh. And I'm just looking through, my camera, and it gets louder and louder. And they're like, you hear one of the guys go, nope. And they all just turn around and they start running. They actually got in their cars and they left. Well, we've that was the funniest and cruelest thing we've ever done, spirit ghost hunting wise.
Yeah, no. I have a few paranormal experiences. None of them quite as terrifying as the one at Grafton for me.
Okay, let me tell my
At
last Grafton story,
my
if that's
mom's
cool.
townhome. Saw very angry little red-headed girl staring at me as I was getting a glass of milk. That was weird.
Wendy was pissed that you went to Burger King, bro.
Ah, right? I mean, I wasn't the only one that saw this little girl, but she looked fucking
Wait.
pissed.
What was her hairstyle like? Not obviously red, but like.
Uh, it was like pigtails,
Oh
ponytails.
fuck me. Hey, Poison Keshu. Any of that sound familiar? Just gonna throw that out there when you listen to this.
Oh no.
Okay. So that demon girl from Pioch, not Pioch, Grafton.
Oh, Grafton. Yeah.
Yeah. It was pigtails.
Oh, joy. Love that.
But I guess I believe it was black hair, not red. But anyway, the last Grafton story for our Halloween episode. We were all out there as a group, and we just got done. Like nothing really felt out of the ordinary. And we get to the vehicles, and we just barely put all of our equipment away, and we close the trunk. And out of nowhere, you just start hearing horse gallops. And it wasn't just like one or two. It was like a shitload of horses. And they were like galloping towards us. And then you start hearing the Native American war cries with it. Like the shit you would see in like movies when they're just charging. That was the shit we were hearing. And this is like 3, 4 o'clock in the fucking morning. And so like we all stopped. We froze. And it got closer and closer. With each closer, it got louder and louder and louder. Maybe about 100 yards, silence.
Huh.
And we were in shock because it happened, and we were pissed because we couldn't record it. Because that was the coolest fucking thing we've ever heard.
I have a similar story. Do you know the old fort out in Warner Valley?
Fort Pierce?
Yes, I believe so.
Dude, we never experienced anything out there except for fucking frogs croaking.
Oh, no. Me and some of the same group of friends that went to Grafton decided to go out and not do any illegal substances, but we parked at the fort. And they had said, "Oh, you're quiet. You can hear cannon fire."
That's the rumors. Like, if you're quiet out there, you could hear cannon fires and, like, the black powder gunshots and all that. But when I read upon the history, no battle ever happened out there.
Oh, I know. No, nothing ever happened, but you could straight up hear the gunfire and the cannon fire. It was the coolest fucking thing.
So you actually heard it?
Yeah.
Huh. We didn't hear shit, but frogs going, Craig, burp.
No, it... I mean, I don't know how true this can be because, you know, totally not illegal substances were ingested, but one of my friends said, "Dude, I can see the people just walking by the car." And I'm like, all right.
Okay, with that of the not the of what you said of the substances, I'm gonna like not believe that one because that shit you mix it in with ghost hunting, 9 times out of 10 that shit's faked.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there's some shit out in Warner Valley. I know there's a skinwalker out there.
Yeah, skinwalkers are another thing out here.
Oh yeah.
Because we got Skinwalker Ranch up north.
Yeah.
Which I really want to fucking go to.
Apparently, I have a family member that's co-owner of Skinwalker Ranch.
Ooh, get me in contact.
I mean, I had to talk to my dad first because it's his cousin's brother or his cousin's cousin or something like that. I don't know.
That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, the moment I learned that, I'm like, oh fuck yes, I want to go. Even though stuff like that doesn't like me.
Well, like I said, you got to be with people that actually know what the fuck they're doing.
Look, man, I've been with you, and we've had things on the spirit box say, "Kill the Jew." I'm like, what the fuck, man?
That was just me. Okay, enough with the jokes. Okay, so Let's see, what's another story?
Uh,
We were at Mountain Meadow,
oh God.
to which people that don't know the history, which a lot of people don't, just look it up. It's too long of a story to tell, but it's fucked up. It's the dark stain on Southern Utah history.
Brief, brief summary. Mormons thought that the United States Army was going to come fuck them up. It wasn't the United States Army, so they fucked up just random people trying to get to California and
Meh.
disguised themselves as Indians. And,
Well, I also read that Indians actually helped take part in this.
yeah, I heard that too. But then the people that survived the initial Mountain Meadow massacre, they were just like, well, if you give up your guns, we'll take you to Cedar City and you can take refuge. And then in Cedar City, they just massacred the rest of them and took their children to be indoctrinated into the Mormon Church. So,
That I haven't heard.
yes.
I'll have to do research on that, because I know the people that were actually massacred at Mountain Meadow they was pretty much like, if you were able to tell the tale, you were killed. And so, but we were out there investigating. A short story. We just got done investigating, and we were leaving, and you have to go down this little ravine before you get to the parking lot, and we hear like a blood curdling scream, but it was from like a female, and it was a child. Like, we all froze, because that was something we definitely weren't expecting on that one, and it just, and like we stopped, and we're like, what shit? And nothing happened after that, and so we're like, what? But the long story of Mountain Meadow, it was I think it was November. I'm not exactly the exact month, but it was fucking freezing, and we're in Mountain Meadow, and we're in the area where we call it the dinosaur poop, which is the memorial section, because they have this giant ass rock formation that looks like a T-Rex just went. And the rumor is that there's actually some of the victims buried underneath the rock. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's the rumor. But we're investigating. A lot of us were too cold to actually really do anything. But a buddy of ours, he was provoking like a motherfucker. He got sick of just asking the nice questions, and he just went right to it. And there was this gate. Well, usually that's me, but I was just too damn cold. But he was going around just asking, not just asking, but provoking. And it got to a certain point where he was by this gate door, and he goes, "What, do you want to use the door?" And nothing really happened. And so we're like, okay, we're all too cold. Let's just go home. So we're all in Poison Cashew's car, and we're heading down the road, and we're getting to that area where it does that bend. Not the bend, the corner in the road where it's like deer could literally come out of nowhere, and it's fucking pitch dark. Mm-hmm. We're getting there, and I'm doing a live review, and this is literally what you hear. You hear my buddy go, "What, do you want to use the door?" And you hear, "No, I don't want to use the fucking door." Just like that. Just like that. It was so pissed off and like angry sounding. We're like, what the fuck? Immediately when we all heard that, Poison Cashew's car turns off.
Oh, fuck.
Like, he was still in drive, the lights turned off, engine just flat out just stopped. Like, he still had steering and all that, but like he couldn't, like, gas pedal didn't work, like the gas, nothing. Lights wouldn't turn on or anything. And like, he's like, I gotta pop it in neutral or something. And I turned off the recording device. His car starts right back up.
Well, that's sketch as fuck.
And so we're like, well, that was fucking awesome. Outside of Utah, we whenever my family and I go on vacation, this is kind of like a little tradition I started. We have to go on a ghost hunting tour. We just have to. It's kind of a thing. But we were in California, and we were on the Queen Mary, and I was like, oh, they got a ghost hunting tour. Fuck yeah. So
Mary's
we went on it. The Queen Mary is fucking dope. I really want to go back, because I never got to go see those anti-aircraft guns that are on the front of the ship, and I really want to see those.
Oh, they're dope.
But we paid for the ghost hunting tour. Well, not the ghost hunting tour. The I guess a ghost tour, and they ended up using like cheap strobe light effects and fog machines and shit like that. And I'm like, oh, this is fucking dumb. But we get in the area where the swimming pool is, and 2 people have confirmed drowned in that pool. And you can see wet footprints and all that shit because they use salt water, not fresh.
Yeah.
And I was the last one in the line of everybody, and I'm just watching the strobe lights and everything, and like I literally said out loud, I'm like, this is fucking stupid. As soon as I said that, just a whoosh, like it literally felt like someone like open palmed, pushed me in the back. To which, if you slap my back, I'm gonna get pissed, which I obviously did. I turned around and I'm like, what and like right when I turned around, no one was there. And so I was like, okay. And so I turned my hand to my back and I felt a wet handprint.
Oof.
And like instead of fear, I got excitement, and I was like grabbing my mom, and I'm like, Mom, you gotta feel my back. Yeah, you gotta feel my back. She's like, shut up, I'm watching the tour. Shut up. And I'm like, just feel my back. And she's like, yeah, it's wet. So what? And I'm like, exactly what was she just fucking saying? At that point, my mom wasn't a believer. At that point, my mom ended up becoming a believer, but it wasn't in California. It was in South Carolina. And that one, like the look on her eyes. We were in the South, when a building gets to a certain point of age, it is legally protected and it can't be torn down. So we went on a ghost tour of like the first county jail, and nothing was really weird or anything. I thought the tour was really cool. So if you're ever in South Carolina, try and find it because it's an awesome tour. Something did happen to me at the end of the tour, but that's not where we're getting to right now. We go up to the women's section, and the lady was like, "Oh, all the evil women here were, housed here, and guests have reported, missing watches and earrings and stuff like that, and we'll find it 2 years later in like a different part of the whole area." And everyone kind of leaves that area to go outside in the little walkway, and me and my mom are in like the doorway, and I guess my mom heard something behind her, to which I saw her turn her head behind her. And then, like, her shoulder went forward, but her body went backwards. And, like, she jumped, like, across, like, from, like, door to wall to where my dad was. And, like, she grasped on. And my mom was a fucking firefighter and a paramedic. She really ain't scared of shit. She was grasping onto my dad, and she was like, I do not want to go back in that fucking room. And I'm like, the fuck just happened? And at that point, my mom became a true believer. But we come to the end of the tour, and like we were in like the mean male section, and she was like, "This room I've only been in once. I won't go in it again." I guess there's 2 people that stayed in that room when it was in operation, and there was only one murder in that room, and that was the 2 people. Basically, a guy. One of the inmates bound the other guy, like wrapped around like his hands together, his feet together, and then strangled him to death. Our tour guide's first tour, she goes into the room to tell the story. At that moment, she felt like her hands were tied, and she said it felt like hands were going around her throat, and she couldn't breathe. Somehow she like snapped out of it and ran out of that room. And she's like, "So if you guys want to go in that room, you're more than welcome to, but I'm not going to." Pretty much 99.9% of the people didn't. But I go to the door, and it was closed, and I stick my head in through the little jail cell window, and like, imagine like a white sheet of paper that covered my face. Like I couldn't see.
Wow.
Like all I saw was white. And, like I stick my head back out, and it was perfectly fine.
That's weird.
So that was my South Carolina trip. Nothing really oh, that's not true. When we were in Philly, we went to Gettysburg, which me, my mom, and my dad, we were up in this high fucking tower, and we started hearing like cannon shots and muskets going off, and we're like, oh, they must be doing a reenactment. In which I was like, oh man, I want to see a reenactment. It's so cool. But we go down, and that's like, as soon as we get to floor level, it's all quiet. And I got some pictures of possible orbs. Like with orbs, I'm kind of iffy on. But
yeah,
we get back to like the gift shop area, which you could also pay to go on the tours and whatnot. And my mom goes, "So are you guys going to be doing any more reenactments today?" And the park ranger was like, "What do you mean?" And my mom was like, "Oh, we were at the area with the tower. We were up on it, and we heard cannons going off and muskets and whatnot. And we're just wondering if you guys going to do any more reenactments today." And he goes, "There's no reenactment scheduled for 2 weeks." And like I was like, "Oh, ooh!" And my dad was like, "It's like a ghost could slap my dad in the face and be like, 'I'm a ghost,' and my dad went, 'Nah, you just albino.'"
Oh, my dad.
Uh,
My dad loves this paranormal stuff. My mom hates it.
yeah, because every time something happens at work that we can't explain, your mom blames me.
Well,
"Why do you got to bring that demon shit here, Steven?" I'm like, "That's just what I do."
well, me and my dad will like. We'll just walk up to her and go, "Skinwalker," and she's like, "Stop saying that shit."
I'm gonna say that. I'm so gonna say that.
But
I'm gonna go walk by your mom. I'm gonna go, "Skinwalker." To which she'll probably go, "Troy."
probably. So, do you think we have enough time for this last story that I have? But it's kind of long.
I got one, but it's a short one. Well, what is yours, like an actual story or
No,
like
this
an
is
experience?
This is a written story.
I don't know about that.
But I don't have to. I didn't even finish reading it beforehand. I just kind of got halfway through. It seemed interesting, but I don't have to read it.
Nah, we don't have to tell that one.
All right. Well,
We were at Eastern State and I saw one of the doors move. I have it recorded somewhere. I gotta find the tape, but the doors started swinging open and closing. My dad was like, "It's just the wind." I'm like, "There's no wind, dude." Yeah, I got a lot of stories, but I mean, we don't have a lot of time.
no, I mean, we've already been recording for over an hour.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of podcasts can go 2 hours, but
I know.
I kind of want to keep it in the hour, kind of.
Hour and some change range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't really think of like any like amazing ghost stories that I haven't told yet.
No, and you and I haven't really had many experiences together other than
I know. Let's go to Grafton.
no. I'll go anywhere else, but fuck that place. Nah, fam, I'm good.
What about rafting?
Shut the fuck up.
That's like a block over.
Shit. I'll go to Penhurst before I go back to Grafton. Like,
We should go to Silver Reef.
is that the mine with the gate that you had an experience
Yeah, that you
at?
can't go in. Yeah, I don't know if I had one at the actual mine, but I mean, like we found burnt paper, but there was nothing written on it. I think I actually kept one of those papers. But yeah, a lot of the stuff happened actually like in the building, in the like museum.
Yeah, I mean,
We actually caught the safe door, vault door, I should say, actually swinging open, which I mean those are heavy fucking doors.
yeah. I mean, for me, most of my paranormal experiences, or at the very least just experiences that I can't necessarily explain, it's just something smacking my ass. Like,
Sorry, I'll stop.
God damn it, Steven.
Hey, you know.
I had one experience with my ex. I just bent over to grab some eggs to start cooking or whatever, and as I'm in the fridge, I feel something smack my ass. I was about to look at my ex and be like, "Hey, you're not allowed to do that," and she's in the living room. And I just kind of look at her. "Hey." Ghost touched my ass. She's like, "Well, fucking kick its ass then." I'm like, "Well, fuck." Alright.
Casper's just a really friendly ghost.
Super friendly.
There's wow, stroke. One experience actually at work. Was when I first started like doing days. There was me, your mom, Mrs. K, Mrs. A, and we were, all just doing our stuff, but we were pretty close together, and we plain as day, we hear a woman go, hello. And, like, we all turned to look, but there was nobody there. And, like, everyone's kind of, like, all confused. And even I'm confused. And Mrs. K kind of went around the double doors to look and see, oh, maybe it's just a person in a wheelchair. And she turned, looked, and she looks up in, like, a shocked face, and she goes, there's nobody there. Everybody looks at me. And I'm like, what?
You're just the easy scapegoat.
And your mom was like, you got to do that ghost hunting stuff and bring those demons here. I'm like, this one sounded friendly. But no, I'm serious. I'm going to go up to your mom. I'm going to go, Skinwalker.
And I'm going to get my ass beat. Thanks.
What the fuck? What was that?
What?
All I heard was you're going to get your ass and then...
Oh, then I'm going to get my ass beat. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Let's see.
You're welcome.
I had another story to tell and I can't remember it. Like, it was literally on the tip of my tongue. And now it's gone.
When my mom came home from Germany after my grandma died, I think it was her first night back. It was either her first or her second night back. I was in my room, which is now the computer room. And, like, the door was closed because I tend to have my door closed because I like privacy. And she hears me talking. And she's like, oh, who's Stephen talking to? She opened the door, but it was just me. And she was like, who are you talking to? I'm like, oh, it's Grandma. And she was like, what? And okay. And she closed the door. I think my German grandfather actually watches over me at the house because the room I'm in now used to be the actual computer room.
Yeah.
And where the window is, where my bed is where the desk used to face with the computer. So basically, you could look out the window. So your back was always towards the door. And I would always feel like somebody was watching me. And every time I would turn around, there'd be no one there. And then one night, I guess I was a lot faster. And I turned around and I saw just a glimpse of like a partial fedora and like a gray suit and an arm, and it like and a couple weeks later my mom got some more stuff from Germany. It was like pictures of like family and friends partying and whatnot, my grandfather's World War II pictures and all that shit. And I'm like going through and like, oh, this is awesome, my grandpa's definitely a heavy drinker. And which I don't know if he was or not, but a lot of the pictures, he definitely looks like he's happy with beer. And
it's German. It's the culture.
I don't think he's actually German. I think he was Prussian.
Still.
As far as I know, my mom's the only one that's actually technically German. I think my grandma was born in German-occupied Poland. Okay. But I'll have to find out for that. I'm not sure. But like I'm going through these photos and I see this guy that didn't look familiar, and I was like, "Mom, who's that?" And she goes, "Oh, that's your grandfather." I'm like, "That's Grandpa?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Huh?" She's like, "Why?" I'm like, "You know that story I told you not to something literally." Okay, I'm not even fucking with you. Something just touched my goddamn shirt. Well, it literally felt like something just fucking tugged my shirt as I'm telling a story about my grandpa, who I think watches over me. So that could be him not finding it very funny that I said he might be a heavy drinker.
Or he's just putting his hand on you in an assuring way, like, "Ah, yes."
No, it's not like he didn't just place his hand like on it. It's like he like it was a yank. Like, knock it off, fucker. But I was like, oh, that's yeah, Arschloch. I was like, yeah, that's the guy I was telling you about. And she's like, oh, he watches over you. I'm like, well, just tell him to stop running away. I want to talk to him, find out his war stories, because passed when I was 1, so I never got to hear him. Oh. That's weird. Dude, like, I'm actually tongue-tied. Like, I can't. I'm literally turning my body trying to figure it, because my dog's not in my room.
I mean,
speaking of which, my old dog Bear, he haunts our house. So that's pretty cool.
I don't know, man. I can't think of any other story off the top of my head. Do you have any more?
I got a lot, but we're just
any more that you want to share?
No, because they're way too long, and it just makes me miss paranormal investigating a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, so what? Do we? You just want to call it now?
How about this? Let me ask you this one question: the top 3 places you can go that's supposedly haunted.
Top 3 places that's supposedly haunted. Not that I know is
haunted.
Yeah.
Like in the world, not just in the United States. Like in the world, where would you go?
Plague Island, off the coast of Italy.
Fuck yeah.
I already mentioned Penhurst. There are a few.
One more.
I'm torn between Vlad the Impaler's castle or Doll Island in Mexico.
Ooh, fuck. If the second one didn't suck, I would have gone with Vlad, but they're both fucking equally amazing. Oh, fuck. Okay. The top 4, I guess. For me, the first one is I always get disgusting looks every single fucking time I say this, but Auschwitz.
Oh yeah, I would love to go to Auschwitz.
I would love to go there, obviously for the history, value and whatnot, but definitely the paranormal. Like of all the fucked up shit that happened there, like instantly. The White House.
I mean, supposedly Abe Lincoln haunts there. Have a chat with him.
Yeah. A lot of people have actually seen dead presidents there, so that'd be kind of cool. It's an airplane hangar. I can't remember the name of it, but it's an airplane hangar at Pearl Harbor. That still has bullet holes and everything. Supposedly, you could hear, like sirens and explosions and shit. Number 4. I would have to say Penhurst.
So what I'm hearing is we need to go to Penhurst.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Road trip. Ooh, I got one more story. Like this one's too weird not to tell. This is not an experience. This is an actual story. This is from New York. There's a hotel that's it's in Manhattan, and there's a section of the building that they actually closed off to people because they would constantly get reports of the same story, and it's from like 3 floors, but it's the exact same story. At a certain time at night in a room, you could actually start hearing like screams, thousands of screams, not just one, like thousands of people screaming. And you would get closer to the window, and like the screams would be louder, and as soon as you would open up the drapes, you would actually see an American Airlines aircraft hauling ass towards the window. This hotel is right next to Ground Zero.
Alright, I'm down. That's dope.
Well, they won't let people stay on those floors anymore, so
I'm sure we can find some sort of paperwork.
We work for Donald J. Trump. Chomp.
Donald
That's
Trump.
who I voted for,
like
by
Donald
the way. Hey, does his hair? Fuck, I can't speak today. Jesus. All right, yeah, we might as well end it.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to the Spoopy Halloween podcast.
Did you say boopy?
Yes, it's spoopy.
Oh, spoopy?
Spoopy, yes.
Spoopy. Looks like we're both possessed. So this is the Halloween episode of the Unfiltered podcast. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we might do another one next year if we're still doing a podcast. I'm sure we will, though. So, stay tuned for our next episode of the Unfiltered podcast, where it's actually going to be normal. And yeah, so I'm Steven.
I'm Troy.
Deuces.